Hello and welcome back. My name's Keisha and I'm here to talk about the Spinal Stimulator trial. So today is day 4 for me, and I have to admit this is one of the best things that I've gotten a chance to experience as far as pain management is concerned. So Monday, I took off of work. I just got it done pretty much this week. March the 4th, I took off that day, and I've taken a leave of absence for this whole procedure, in case you're wondering. For me, I took off the 7 days needed for the trial, as well as an additional 3 days. So, one day before the trial, and I've got two additional days after the trial takes place to give me a chance to ease back into life before the trial. So, day 2, I went to pain management for a wound check. I will try to do a video showing images of that. Chose not to put the images on this particular footage in case you want to be prepared. Some people are easily triggered by different things, so I don't want to upset anybody with any images, but it's really nothing to see. The wound is surprisingly small. I mean, really small. You could take the head of a pin and place it in an area that's currently open, that the two leads were placed in. Um, so with the wound check that day, as far as on a scale of 1 to 10, my pain, I would say, was pretty much at a 2 or 3. So usually my pain level is at an 8 before the stimulator trial. I would not be able to stand more than roughly 2 minutes before having to sit down, being completely racked with pain. I could not even stand very long. And as far as walking would be excruciating for me. So pain levels were always at an 8. But now that I've gotten the trial and getting into day 4, pain is significantly decreased at this point. So that being said, walking or doing any activities, I would basically place my pain at at 3. And if I'm just sitting here, like I'm sitting here now, it's at the back of my mind. I would say that I'm achy. So a lot of achiness, pretty much stiffness. So I feel stiff, feel a little achy. So just sitting, not active, I would give it a 2. It's at the back of your mind, really not registering. But when you start to walk, do things, I would put the pain level at a 3 or a 4. And when I say pain, I really want to be careful with the term even at that point, because when I say I'm at a 3 or a 4, I mean that while I'm doing these activities, I'm fatigued. I have not had this level of activity for about a year. For a year, I've been in this just chronic pain. So when I say that I'm at a 3 or a 4, it's because I'm tiring out real easy. I haven't stood, or I haven't walked in a store. I haven't stood in line. I haven't done those things in literally a year's time. I've just been completely racked with the chronic pain that the spinal stenosis has placed me through. So day 2 was just a wound check. I drove myself, and my doctor is pretty much an hour away. And the only drawback to that was not realizing I've got all the stuff taped to my back. The whole drive, I was pretty much, carrying the steering wheel, just really driving up against the steering wheel because I couldn't comfortably lean back. Um, and another thing too, when I did finally lean back, it wasn't the most comfortable position. But I didn't need any help. I could totally drive myself. No pain, really. Like I said, you're at a 2 sitting down, not much going on. When they removed the dressings, once again, not a painful experience. I thought that I would really be sore from everything, especially placing needles in your back and doing this whole thing. Nope, wasn't sore. Didn't care about the dressings being removed. Um, Everything looked great. and the wound, it looks fine. It's no drainage, nothing like that. The only reason that the bandages had to be replaced is because they were removed to check everything. So after that procedure, there wasn't any drainage on those dressings. Everything was really clean, looked really nice. um, when I can tell you one thing, when the dressings were removed, you basically had a little stinging from the air. You know how you get a little cut and it stings? That's the only sensation that I felt during the wound check. So she placed the dressing back on, and I merrily went on my way. What I can say is that I don't think I would be as achy, but right now in our area we do have scattered thunderstorms, some rain in the area, and if you do have back issues, I know you're aware that weather does affect us. You can feel when rain is approaching. So I think that maybe I wouldn't even have the aches and the gripes that I have if we had a patch of clear weather here. So, day 3, I decided to go out and really test to see, well, how well is the therapy going? How well is this device really working for me? And I have to admit, I was just totally in love with the spinal cord stimulator day 3. Day 3, I was out of the house and I really pushed it to see what I was capable of. So I actually went to my local bank. I went inside, which I haven't done in literally a year. There were people in front of me. I could stand there comfortably in line, not supported by anything, not leaning on anything. I had at least 4 people in front of me, and you know, if you deal with a lot of pain, you know what it feels like when you're in line and you're looking at all these people in front of you, and you're like, my God, I don't know what you're doing, but I need you to hurry up because I'm ready to get out of here. I gotta sit down. I gotta find a seat. This is way too much. Didn't even cross my mind. I patiently waited for those 4 individuals to get done. Not only did I handle my transaction, but I also stood there a little bit and I talked to the ladies in the bank. They hadn't seen me in a while. I had just been utilizing drive-through, so it was really nice to catch up on everyone, and it was fine. Everything was okay. As far as pain, just standing there, I was at a 2. I was okay. And I was like, well, wow, this is really good. So let's push it a little bit more. So I left the bank and I went to my local shopping center. And at the shopping center, I decided to go into Joann's Fabric. I'm working on a project there. I'm working on a project and I wanted to get a few things from there. And I actually shopped. I grabbed a cart. And oh, by the way, I didn't find a close parking spot. If you know how that is, you're circling the parking lot, always trying to search for the closest thing because you can't take that walk. Not in this situation. I literally just grabbed a parking spot that was near the shopping cart corral. And you know how far they put the shopping cart corrals. You know how far those things are. They're always in the middle of the parking. So I was probably 3 spaces away from where you would return your shopping cart. And I was able to walk to the store, not about to collapse. I grabbed a buggy, and I have to be honest, to have that shopping cart to lean against, that was nice, that I was able to lean and just go through the aisles, take my time. I was not in any extreme discomfort. I would say for the most part, I was at a 3. And that 3 comes from being fatigued, not using my legs in this manner in literally a year. Okay. So I was just fatigued. My legs was like, hey, I'm really not used to standing up this long. But my mind was just so happy that I could do it without cringing in pain and without trying to find a seat to collapse in. So I was okay with the fatigue just burning in the upper thighs, and I continued to shop. And I took my time and shopped. I even found some fabric that I wanted to get. I was able to go to the fabric area, and of course in our town, there's no one ever at the fabric table to cut what you found to buy. So I end up waiting there. Literally 3 other people end up joining me, all of us waiting to get fabric cut. And I was not in a position of just going, oh my God, I can't wait in line anymore. I need to find a chair. That wasn't even in my thought process. I was happy and content to literally stand and lean against the shopping cart and be okay. And I want to reiterate, this is from a person that I was at an 8 before the spinal cord stimulator. I would have not, I wouldn't have even dreamed of going into the store and not getting on a mobility cart. That I would not even let that cross my mind. There's no way I would have even tried to venture in that store without getting one of the mobility carts to help me. It just hasn't been possible for me recently. So after I got finished getting everything from the fabric section, actually returned the shopping cart, did another loop, just walking by myself to see if I could just stand without the support of the cart, and I was able to do so. I returned back to the front, got in line, stood in line, had a few people in front of me, probably like 5 people in front of me, and not individuals that had 1 or 2 items. I mean, it looked like one lady had a whole bunch of stuff for a wedding, and I mean, she had a shopping cart full of stuff, and as well as another lady. I don't know if she's like a seamstress, but stood in line comfortably, not being distressed, and I was able to make my transaction and not collapse in pain in the nearest chair that I could find. So after leaving the store, since I was feeling so great, still maintaining pain level tolerable, I went and got a haircut. Went right next door, and it was Supercuts next door. Not that I'm a fan of Supercuts, but since I'm out feeling really great, might as well do what I can do while I can do it. You know, I'm not faced with the devil that I know of pain, so I wanted to enjoy myself. Got my haircut after and yeah, during getting my haircut, I was able to lean back in the chair to get a shampoo, not in any discomfort in the upper back that I would normally experience. Like, there's normally, for me to recline and let someone wash my hair, that would just shoot pain up my back. Previously, that would have caused like significant pain in my hip because I can't sit a certain way for very long without being distressed. But I didn't have to rush the beautician through her process. She could shampoo, do anything she needed to do, and I was completely fine. Still, after getting a haircut, still on top of the world, I decided to, well, hey, might as well go to PetSmart. And I was able to shop in there. I mean, all these things sound so mundane. This would be nothing to anyone else. But for somebody that has literally been shut in the house, sending their friends with their credit cards so that their friends could do the shopping for them. I mean, as far as shopping goes, the only shopping that I would ever do was Walmart grocery shopping online, and I would just go pick my groceries up and have my friend or her children unload the groceries for me. I hadn't been in a position that I would go out to a store. I literally haven't. And yeah, you do have the mobility scooters that are available in the store, but I really hate using them because, the way I was raised, every time I go to use a mobility scooter, there's an elderly person coming in, and of course, you got to give it, you got to be respectful and give it to someone that I feel that really needs it. So most of the time, I would spend so much time just waiting on the availability of a scooter being available because our Walmart doesn't have that many of them. And like I said, I'm not going to be that person that takes it from an 86-year-old woman that's coming in that needs to get her shopping done and she doesn't have the support of having someone to shop for her. So if I have to sit there and wait on one, I will. But in order to avoid all that, all of my shopping has been online. So to have the opportunity to go in the store and walk and push the cart myself and not just be in extreme pain, that was great. So if I had to say, if I've made up my mind of whether I'm going to get this placed in permanently, I would say yes. I definitely want this permanently. I look forward to it. If this is what's possible, I really want to get it done. I honestly do. I heard so many things about it, looking on YouTube, watching other people Some people would say it was the worst thing that they've ever gotten done. Um, some people, had experiences where they walked out and it was perfectly fine as soon as they got it. That didn't work for me. The day of the procedure, if you didn't watch the first video, my first day of the procedure, it was horrible. Got a spinal fluid headache. Never had headache pain like that in my life. Also had a nerve that was inadvertently hurt, and I hate to say damaged, but because it's temporary. So I had a nerve that was hurt during the process, and it was really inflamed. And as of now, that same inflamed nerve that was creating such havoc on the day of, at this point, it feels like an open wound. It feels like I got a cut, and it's just an open cut, and that's the feeling that it has. And compared to the pain that I usually have, I will take that all day. I don't care about that. That one little nerve is not even worth mentioning to me. But if I want to be real about my experience, I hate that one nerve was damaged during the process, and it's still taking a while. My doctor assured me that inflamed nerves can take a little bit to settle down. So it may be a process. In his words, it can be days or it can actually be weeks for that to subside, and that's fine with me. I don't care. Looking at the overall picture, I would do it again in a heartbeat. I'm really sad that in a few days I'm going to have to get this removed and go back to square one, literally. I do want to say, as far as taking a leave of absence, I took 7 days and 3 additional days. I needed a day before the procedure because my schedule would have had me working that overnight. I would have worked from 11 to 7:30 in the morning, and I would have had to have the procedure at 9:30 that following morning. So that's why I took that day off before the procedure. And also I took that day, took 7 days for the entire length of the trial, and I have 2 days after the trial that I've taken as well, because I wanted to give myself a buffer, a time frame to kind of readjust going back into that painful state that I'm normally in. So yeah, it's really hurting my feelings, and I'm gonna have to go back, but it is what it is. So day 4, excellent. Just feeling a little achy. I do want you to know, if you get it done, when you wake up, you're going to feel a lot of achiness, a lot of stiffness. But as soon as you get to moving around, pain just fades in the background. For me, my experience, I'm at a 2 or a 3. 2 at rest, 3 moving around, and that 3 is for fatigue. I really think that if I get this permanently and I have the opportunity to have physical therapy, I won't even have the 3. I think I'll probably always be kind of like at a 2, and maybe not that. Who knows? So just wanted to give you that update. Thank you for hanging in there with me. Make sure that I post another video, let you know about the remaining few days. Don't have very much time. It's Saturday and Tuesday I'll be getting it removed again. So thank you for your patience and everything. I'll make sure I also put up a video of the prep work that I had to do before the surgery, to give you an idea of what we did for infection control. So really thank you for checking out my journey. I wish you well on yours. And I hope that this was helpful for somebody. So see you later, and thanks.